Tonight on CTV News at 6. They were both on the trails.
There could be a number of things that are hidden underneath dense snowfall that a snowmobiler would not know is there.
2 snowmobilers were killed in our region less than 30 minutes apart. He has an aggressive form of blood cancer.
He's had a really hard time with the chemotherapy and basically sleeping 21, 22 hours a day.
A North Bay family is fighting for a loved one. And students will be heading back to class.
We've missed them, and we know that there's a lot to do to get them caught up, but we're committed to doing that.
Members of the Laurentian University Faculty Association ratify a new deal with their employer.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us on this Monday, February 9th. It's a terrible start to Snowmobile Safety Week in Northern Ontario. 2 fatal crashes over the weekend have police and safety officials renewing their calls for caution on the trails. We get that story from CTV's Amanda Hicks.
On Saturday, 2 men ages 67 and 51 lost their lives in separate snowmobile crashes in Kapuskasing and Kearney. Provincial police say these deaths bring the total number of fatalities in the Northeast this year to 9.
8 of the 9 were men and 1 was female. 4 out of 9, which is the largest chunk of the age group, were between 45 and 54 years of age.
While overall fatality numbers are down compared to previous years, police point to recurring factors.
Pertaining to snowmobiles, it's quite often it's alcohol or drug and speed, and so loss of control, whether you leave the trail because you're going too fast to navigate through a curve, or you're going too fast and you don't see a pressure crack in a lake. On the ice, where you've hit a stump or something like that, where a slow speed collision with a stump or a rock would damage your sled, but a high speed collision with that could quite easily cause serious injury or kill you.
The Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs says there's been high engagement this season, with 80,000 riders accessing 28,000 kilometers of trails. However, officials say trespassing remains a primary safety concern.
There's a reason why that trail doesn't exist there. There could be farm equipment, there could be pieces of timber, there could be a number of things that are hidden underneath dense snowfall that a snowmobiler would not know is there until they find out. And unfortunately, when they do find that out, it's too late for their sled and their own personal safety.
With Family Day weekend fast approaching, OPP are expecting an increase in riders on the trails. They are urging everyone to be mindful of the extra traffic and ride sober to ensure a safe and enjoyable season. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
The province is making a major northward expansion of its power grid, connecting Barrie to Sudbury to electrify the north. CTV's Jack Morse has more on the announcement today.
300 kilometers of high-capacity transmission lines running from Barrie to Sudbury.
Now is the time to invest. Really important. You can see what's going on in the world and the amount of energy we need in Ontario.
The line is expected to be in service by 2032, with the groundwork done for a second line of the same capacity. The province says it's what's needed to keep up with a huge spike in power demand over the next 25 years.
Some people say it could be as low as 65%. We've seen estimates that show as high as a 90% increase in energy demand between now and 2050. And to meet that growing demand, we have to build out a massive amount of power generation, transmission, and production here in the province of Ontario.
Over the course of the project, the province says it'll create 9,000 jobs, though many of those will be in the construction. Hydro One has been put in charge. When asked what the cost would be, staff didn't give a clear answer.
So it's too early to give an estimate because that will come at the moment of construction. We can assure you we're doing this with affordability in mind and Ontarians in mind.
A group of 11 First Nations along the line are also involved, splitting ownership 50-50 with Hydro One and having some decision-making power.
Our lands are not simply routes for infrastructure. There are territories governed by treaty, sustained by our laws, and protected by our enduring responsibility to the past and future generations.
There's a serious transmission bottleneck to the north, and this is part of the plan to deal with that as companies begin to ramp up projects around the Ring of Fire. The province positioning this as one more step into making sure that promised resource development can go forward. Jack Moore, CTV News, Barrie.
20 counts of mischief. That's what a 34-year-old man in Sudbury has racked up in a single incident. A little after 5 this morning, officers were called to Pine Street in Sudbury, where multiple vehicles had windows smashed. They located the suspect, and the search revealed stolen jewelry, ID cards, and vehicle documents. In total, police believe the man smashed the windows of 20 vehicles along Pine, Elm, and Oak Streets. You can read more about this story on our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. After 3 weeks, the strike at Laurentian University in Sudbury is over. CTV's Angela Gemmell reports.
It's still quiet on campus a day after Laurentian's faculty accepted a new collective agreement and ended its 15-day strike. But when classes will resume is still unknown.
This was only phase one. We have a legal challenge, a charter challenge. We are confident we will be vindicated. And the preparation for the next round of bargaining starts today.
According to the Laurentian University Faculty Association, about 74% of its members voted in favor of ratifying the new deal, which will see salary increases over the next 3 years. Although there were some gains, the union says Laurentian failed to rebuild trust. LUFA's president calls the provincial government a ghost at the table, since the school still has stipulations from a government bailout loan that the union says made it impossible to negotiate fairly.
There was a limit Laurentian could not exceed in bargaining. Our analysis was that limit was reached, and so that's what we share with our members.
The president of Laurentian disagrees.
There were 2 parties to this agreement, the university and the faculty association. We bargained in good faith at the table, and we arrived at a deal between the 2 parties.
In a statement to CTV News, the Ministry of Colleges, Universities, Research Excellence and Security says, in part, our government will continue to be there to support a strong, stable and world-class post-secondary system across Ontario.
We're very excited to get the students back. We've missed them, and we know that there's a lot to do to get them caught up, but we're committed to doing that.
Now that the deal is ratified and the strike is over, the faculty members are due back to work tomorrow. As for when classes will resume, Laurentian's Senate is set to meet on Wednesday to determine the new condensed academic calendar, including what to do about next week's reading break. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Let's move now to the weather, and it looks like we are trading in the sun and cold for snow and warmer temperatures. Here's CTV's Rick Wyman to tell us more.
You know what? It's not a bad exchange right now if you can get through a couple of days of snow, which is okay. I mean, it's not going to be insurmountable. Tony, our systems map, let's have a look, courtesy of Environment Canada, that system moving in, then moving out. So we should be okay, but I do have really some good news to tell you about. Warmer temperatures heading close to zero, -1, -2 in some sectors over the course of several cities, several areas in Northeastern Ontario as well. So you'll like that. We'll have some of the details coming up on the 7-day forecast. Tony?
Thanks, Rick. It's Black History Month. Still to come on CTV News at 6. We head to Timmins for more on that story. First, though, we're going to Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and the international bridge linking 2 nations. It's -6 degrees. We will return in just a few minutes.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Sentencing in the 2023 stabbing death of Teresa Agawa took place this afternoon in a Sault Ste. Marie courtroom. Tyler Abbott was accused of second-degree murder, with counsel on both sides agreeing to the lesser charge of manslaughter. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has the details.
On August 20th, 2023, near the corner of Queen Street West and James Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Tyler Abbott stabbed Teresa Agawa, leading to her death. Today, a number of factors led Justice Michael Varpio to accept a joint position of not guilty on a second-degree murder charge, with a guilty plea on manslaughter instead. Abbott, who appeared virtually while at the Algoma Remand and Treatment Center, was sentenced to 8 years in a penitentiary. Justice Varpio agreed that the sentence was appropriate given the stabbing itself, the impact to Agua and her family, as well as the remorse shown by Abbott, him giving condolences to the family and saying he did not mean to kill her. The stab wound that punctured Agua's small bowel was 1.5 by 0.5 centimeters and not immediately fatal, according to a pathologist. The victim denied exploratory surgery when first offered by a surgeon, dying roughly 2 weeks later. Abbott's 8-year sentence will be served consecutively with a 4-year charge for aggravated assault from last December. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
WestJet is introducing new non-stop service to Calgary out of 2 northern airports. Beginning in June, the service will be offered at the Sault Ste. Marie and North Bay airports twice a week as part of WestJet's summer schedule. The new flight option allows for greater access to both national and international travel for northerners. Calgary is a major travel hub for Western Canada, which will open up connecting flights to international destinations. This is especially important in North Bay, where Air Canada cut the number of daily flights last year. February is Black History Month, and in Timmins, the Black community continues to grow. Details from CTV's Lydia Chubak.
Black History Month has been recognized in Canada for 30 years. In Timmins, the African community in Timmins group plans to celebrate the month with the theme Black Excellence.
People have come ahead of us and they have succeeded in achieving, and we also need to make it better by achieving more, impacting more in our kids, making our community better. It's not about the hurts of the past, but it's about bridging that gap and making it better going forward.
Members of the group met with Timmins Mayor Michelle Boileau, who proclaimed the month as a time to recognize the diversity Timmins has to offer, including the police chief who comes from Jamaican and Indigenous parents.
It's important for the Black community to see themselves in their larger community and to see the recognition for their ancestors, for the people that are making important contributions to our history and in present day.
A symposium will take place on Saturday, February 21st in the Collège Boreal cafeteria. The guest speaker will be Dr. Evelyn Kissy from the University of Ghana. Organizers say the forum will create space for sincere dialogue on racial equity, inclusion, and social cohesion in Timmins. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
A First Nation community west of Sudbury celebrated the grand opening today of its Children's Centre. As CTV's Lindsay Alick tells us, it's been in the works for more than 30 years.
Wasakwa Children's Centre is a community-driven licensed early learning and child care centre. It has more than 40 spaces accommodating children age 18 months up to 6 years, with a before and after school program launching next school year.
Currently, this centre is opening its doors for community members to have the opportunity to gain access to childcare for their children. So working and studying community members within Atikameksheng and Anishinaabe First Nation.
The idea for the center was first brought forward by a group of women in the community. And although it took over 30 years to come to fruition, Gima Craig Nuchitai says it has always remained a priority.
It's like how we're going to ensure that our kids are going to be raised in an environment where they will learn all about Atikameksheng and who they are as Anishinaabe people. And that's so important to make sure that they have a strong identity and belief in who they are.
They'll read the story to you in the language.
One of the highlights is the chameleon pens.
We're grateful to have community members that have programmed those pens and share their language to then expand within our center. So we have maps of the area. We have children's books that can be read in English and then listened to in the language, which not only help our children gain the knowledge and retain the language, but our educators.
Giminuchetai says there are 350 people living in the First Nation, with another 1,200 members residing in the Sudbury area. The hope is that services could be expanded to serve those not living in the community. Meantime, he adds officials continue to work on expanding education opportunities, including building an elementary school here one day. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Atikamekshing, Anishinabek.
A woman has personalized her family's traditional crafting and quilt practices to her skill set with metal fabrication. Her work is now on display at a Sudbury college. CTV's Madison Merrier has more.
Cambrian College has 4 wolves crafted from metal hanging on a wall in a classroom dedicated to Indigenous students.
We wanted to create a space that, inspire the Indigenous students who are coming from far away to, be inspired when they come to school. So the wolves just kind of hit all those features, and with them running in the series that they are, it's hoping to inspire the students to, keep chasing their goals.
The symbolism behind it is definitely about wolf packs leaders from behind. And it's showing students that they are capable of becoming leaders, but you can't become leaders without the support of others around.
The classroom was repurposed for Indigenous studies by a local company, and they didn't stop there.
We thought the relevance and the emergence of reconciliation and participation, and not just to say it, but to actually do it. And then once the room was ready for its original unveiling, one of the elements we looked at is we need to provide some art. We need to do something that's grassroots, that brings the community together, and something that kind of exemplifies what this space is to be.
The school feels the sculptures will make students feel more at home and represented within the college.
This room is a representation of gathering, which is very represented within our Indigenous communities. It's a place to gather for our students. It's a place for them to feel belonging, a sense of community.
After the reveal, Corbier held a conversation with students hoping to inspire and share her experience in decolonizing art. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Back now for a check on the current conditions with Rick, and the snow is falling out there.
Tony, big difference in temperatures from Friday night. I was just going through what was going down Friday night, and a big change, a lot milder, as you'll see momentarily. The system moving through Northeastern Ontario. So flurries and continuing overnight with more snow. Let's have a look now at some of the current temperatures. In Moosoty, -6, Cochrane -8, and Timmins -8, Kapuskasing -6, some light precipitation there. Also -7 in Chapleau, Wawa -5, and Sault Ste. Marie, some light snow at -7. Then there's Perry Sound at -9, just a few clouds there. -11 in North Bay, -10 in Temiskaming Shores, and -10 in Kirkland Lake. Greater Sudbury and Nickel Belt, -10 this hour with the flurries as we speak. Espanola -7, Elliott Lake -7, and Gore Bay at -5. Tony, your 7-day forecast and our picks of the day coming up just minutes away. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Rick. The investigation deepens next on CTV News at 6. Ontario's policing inspector announces a province-wide look into corruption. And Air Canada is halting flights to Cuba because the Havana airport is running low on fuel. Ontario's Inspector General of Policing is launching a province-wide inspection in the wake of a major corruption investigation involving police officers in the Toronto area. Toronto's police chief says the force will support the inspection.
And I think when you talk about morale, that goes beyond the role of the Inspector General. The reality is the allegations themselves impact morale, and our members have made it very, very clear that they feel very strongly about their commitment to serving this city in the best way they possibly can, and they made it clear that these people do not represent who they are.
This comes after 8 current and former Toronto police officers were charged in a sweeping investigation into police corruption. 3 officers from Peel Region were also suspended in connection with the corruption probe. The inspection will look into how police services and boards are able to prevent, detect, and respond to corruption. To Mexico, where a Canadian mining company says some of its workers who were abducted from a project site have been found dead. The workers had been employed with Vancouver-based Vizsla Silver. 10 workers were reportedly taken from the company's mining site near the city of Concordia last month. Mexico's Attorney General's office says human remains were found in the area on Friday, but did not say how many bodies had been recovered. 4 people have been arrested. Not a good situation in Cuba with power outages, food shortages, and now Air Canada is suspending all flights to the island for the foreseeable future because of a scarcity of aviation fuel. CTV's Heather Wright on the airline's contingency plans and what you need to know if you are holding tickets.
Beginning Tuesday, jet fuel will no longer be available to international airlines in Cuba. The latest sign of the devastating impact the U.S. fuel blockade is having on the Caribbean nation.
We came to Cuba knowing what to expect. There's some things you'll have every day, some things you won't. I mean, that's a norm for here.
But what has been the norm is deteriorating quickly with widespread shortages of food, fuel, and medicine. Air Canada announced today it is suspending services to Cuba, focusing instead on repatriating the roughly 3,000 passengers who are still there. WestJet and Air Transat have not suspended service but have issued travel notices, allowing for free changes or cancellations. This all comes as Cuba experiences the worst economic crisis in nearly 70 years.
We don't get to see how it truly affects the Cuban life on the island.
For decades, Venezuela had been the primary source of oil for Cuba, a source that was cut off when the United States captured Venezuela's president in January. Then U.S. President Donald Trump said he would impose tariffs on any country that sells or provides oil to Cuba, further depleting its sources of fuel. Some experts say Cuba is on the brink.
By the typical definition of what we think of as a failed state, Cuba is sort of on the cusp of it.
The government has closed hotels in Veradero and is consolidating tourists to save on resources. Fuel sales are being limited while school and business hours have also been reduced.
Cuba has said it is open to negotiating with the United States to end this oil blockade. Meanwhile, the government is warning its citizens to prepare for hard times beyond what they are experiencing now. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
And Rick, I hope you're not going to Cuba for a winter vacation, but I know you have the full weather forecast.
Done that. Beautiful country when things are functional, but of course some tough times for the Cuban residents, and we wish them well. Our forecast radar, Tony, you want some tough times? We've got more snow in the forecast coming through in Northeastern Ontario. I know it was a nice cold weekend, but then again, we've got to deal with the snow. But there is a good thing about this forecast. We've got some warmer temperatures and some sunny skies coming up by the end of the week. Let's take a look at overnight. Greater Sudbury, 5 centimeters of snow. 5 to 10 in Sault Ste. Marie. Timmins, chance of flurries. Morning snow to Timiskaming Shores and snow in North Bay. North Bay in for more snow by tomorrow. Moosonee, chance of flurries. Risk of freezing drizzle in Caphurst. Wawa, again, more of the same. Risk of freezing drizzle. Gore Bay, wind chill. Still cold in Gore Bay for this evening, despite a few clouds, and Perry Sound, a few centimeters of snow. Now your numbers: Sudbury Nickel Belt 5 to 10 centimeters in Greater Sudbury tomorrow, chance of flurries Wednesday. Then here comes the sunshine and warmer temperatures. Sun and cloud Thursday, Friday, sunny skies -2. Chance of flurries on Saturday -2, then -1 and +1 by next Monday. So things are warming up in Northeastern Ontario. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, a few centimeters of snow, but 5 to 10 this evening. Wednesday, here we go, sun and cloud, -5, -3 Thursday, 2 degrees on Friday with the cloud, and sun and cloud, couple of days. Your daytime highs around 0. Certainly promising for the Sioux. It's been a long, snowy winter there. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, 5 centimeters of snow tomorrow, -4. Chance of flurries on Wednesday, -7, -7 again on Thursday, sun and cloud. Sun and cloud Friday on the warm-up, -3, -2 Saturday, sun and cloud. And chance of flurries on Sunday at 0. Normally, you should be sitting at around -8, so a far cry from that come this coming Sunday. Timiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake. Here we go. 10 to 15 centimeters of snow tomorrow, -6 your high. Chance of flurries -6, -7 Thursday with the sun and cloud. Friday, mainly sunny, -2. Sun and cloud Saturday and Sunday, both days at -2. So you will like that. Even your evening temperatures are quite comfortable for this time of the year. North Bay, West Nipissing. Here we go. 10 to 15 centimeters of snow tomorrow, -4. -4 again on Wednesday. Chance of flurries. -6 on Thursday. Sun and cloud. Sun and cloud Friday, -2. -2 Saturday. Chance of flurries. And cloud cover Sunday, warming up to -1. Let's have a look now at our pick of the day. The ever ominous owl. Jerry Way from Powassan sent me this pic, and I was captivated just by the look of what he calls the barred owl. It's on a Canadian flag. He likes to say it's standing on guard for thee. Jerry, thank you for that pic. Rather unusual. Love the bird, to say the least. We'll be back with more coming up in just a moment. A Sudbury man, a greater Sudbury man, is gearing up for the Paralympics in Italy. Madison Marier will have that story a little bit later on in the show.
Many of us use social media platforms to connect with family and friends, and businesses also use them to reach out to their customers. But some viewers tell us their accounts were suspended after being accused of posting inappropriate material. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
It's something I rely on so much for getting new clients.
Jennifer Gaskell of Whitby runs Pink Palm Travel, a business she has grown over the past 5 years using Instagram.
That's how I grew a lot of my client base, which, is part of the reason why it really stings to have it be suspended right now.
Last summer, Gaskell was stunned when her Instagram account was suspended for having inappropriate content, something that made no sense to her.
It was flagged for the reasons that they gave me were absurd. It was like nudity, for example. I immediately was shocked.
She contacted Meta to say there must be a mistake and to have her account reinstated, without success.
There's been really nothing but silence from Meta on this.
It said that was banned, right? Suspended.
Yadasan Sivaraj of Scarborough had an Instagram account for 10 years with over 1,000 followers. It was also suspended due to content violations. He has no idea why, and he also can't get it restored.
Honestly, I just want my Instagram account back because I feel that I shouldn't lose it for something I didn't do.
With Meta, they use automated systems to detect policy violations, and sometimes these automated systems can make a mistake.
A social media expert says having suspended social media accounts reinstated can be difficult.
All the content we're posting online, again, is rented to these social media platforms. It's not really our own. We don't have control over it the way we wish we could.
A Meta spokesperson told CTV News support for Facebook and Instagram is available online, and there are steps to take to have accounts restored. But after months of trying, Sivaraja and Gaskell remain locked out of their accounts. They had to open new ones and start all over again.
Personally, I've had a 50% drop in inquiries, so it does have a direct connection.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
A valued support program by Wounded Warriors is now online to help spouses of trauma-exposed professionals across Canada. CTV's Pauline Chan reports.
Chris Linford was a 33-year member of the Canadian military, largely working in healthcare as a nurse.
I was deployed to Rwanda, Africa, just on the tail end of the genocide.
The experience led to a diagnosis of PTSD years later.
PTSD is kind of one of those injuries that makes you stare at your belly button all day long. So you don't really have a great deal of capacity to see how your behavior is impacting others. I knew there was something wrong.
And when Catherine Linford eventually sought help for herself, she didn't even realize it was connected to Chris's behavior.
I sought help just because I thought I need to figure out what's going on with me. I was sad, I was angry, I was frustrated. So I just needed to do find out why.
She and 2 experienced mental health workers appear in a new online program called the Spousal Resiliency Program, a spin-off of Wounded Warriors' in-person course.
It is not a program to bash our spouses. It's about taking care of us so that we are in a better place to take care, not to take care of them, but to understand them better.
Wounded Warriors CEO Scott Maxwell says having the program online vastly expands accessibility.
Removing geographical barriers to accessing what we know is needed from spouses no matter where they reside in Canada.
He says in Ontario alone, there are some 80,000 public safety personnel, not including retirees or family.
You're talking about upwards of 700,000 to 1 million trauma-exposed professional people.
The 3-hour-long program is meant to be read and absorbed over several weeks and months.
It's a game changer for the country.
And Wounded Warriors also has support programs for couples and children of trauma-exposed professionals. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The North Shore Health Network is advising the emergency department in Thessalon will be closed tomorrow. It will reopen Wednesday at 8 a.m. Blind River, Richards Landing, and Sioux Area Hospital will remain open for non-emergencies. Patients can call 811 for all medical emergencies. Call 911. A family in North Bay is fighting for a loved one after he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of blood cancer. There are approved drugs that could help him, but they aren't covered and cost more than the family can afford. CTV's Eric Tashner has details.
Our cousin group is very interesting.
As Jamie Lynn Sluman was growing up, her close cousin Chris was always seen as her brother.
He's got a big smile on his face, and he is, just going through life in just such a joyful way.
In early January, Chris was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia in adults and has been hospitalized in Sudbury ever since, going through chemotherapy treatment, with his wife and young daughter by his side.
He's had a really hard time with the chemotherapy and basically sleeping 21, 22 hours a day, not when he is awake, not really himself.
Chris's sister-in-law, an oncologist in the United States, learned of 2 drugs that give him the best chance at recovery.
If he just got chemotherapy and this specific TKI drug, the chances that he will be in remission is about 70%. And if he gets blinatumomab and ponatinib, the chances is he would be in remission is about 90%.
Both drugs are approved by Health Canada but are not funded. Chris would need 5 rounds of treatment. After the drug companies offered a reduced price, the cost is pegged at a whopping $330,000.
We're just going to keep going until we get it all.
The family learned that if Chris had a slightly different type of leukemia, the drugs would be covered. They've written to area MPPs, the Ministry of Health, and Premier Doug Ford, requesting the loophole be closed.
Ministry of Health is pushing, along with the Canada Drug Agency, to look at whether they're able in Canada to accept it's the combination of those 2 drugs.
Meanwhile, the communities of North Bay and Huntsville have come together to support Chris's fight, raising over $136,000. There will be a community fundraiser on February 21st at Gateway City Brewery, which is already sold out.
It's pretty easy to say that we're absolutely, all of us are shocked and overwhelmed with gratitude.
And while the family knows Chris has a long fight ahead of him, they're ready to be at his side every step of the way.
We're really confident that we're going to be able to pull together.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
There are countless sports and competitions in Milan with the Winter Games in full swing, but as CTV's Garrett Berry explains, one competition is for spectators.
An Olympic morning in Milan means, of course, competition. To these victors, the spoils, an exclusive city pin. To many others, broken hearts if they arrived too late for the prize.
Yes, we are trying this, but it's not going great for now. We don't have any pins for now.
The quest for Milan's perfect pin will take you all over the city. Each day here, there's a scavenger hunt of sorts where the city's tourism information board posts a new location in the morning and pin collectors congregate here to try to get a chance at a limited edition giveaway. This morning in Milan's Navigli district, people waited hours for the small souvenir.
Well, they're giving them out and it's kind of a hunt for them, so it makes it fun.
Because I live in Milan, quindi I want these pins, all pins.
I love pins. I don't know, I love putting them on my clothes and it's an easy accessory.
Some have been doing this for decades. Meet Thomas Rondi, a pin collector for 14 Olympic Games running, with the hardware to show.
It's really interesting. People have so much fun at it, and it's not really official yet for the Olympics, and we're in a club called the Olympin, and we're trying to literally get it part of the Olympics officially.
You'll find him anywhere in this city, always open for pin trading business. Even CTV anchor Heather Butts got in on the action.
This is the Paralympic Winter Games from Vancouver 2010.
The deal done.
We'll do that trade, and then you trade, and then you have fun, and you say thank you very much.
But there's more business to do. Rondi says each Olympic city starts a little cold, but towards the end of the games, it's a full-on frenzy to get your favorite pin while you can. Garrett Berry, CTV News in Milan.
On the podium, still ahead on CTV News at 6. Parry Sound Olympian soars to new heights at the Winter Olympics in Italy.
Clothing consideration provided by
Fashion Fair. Beautiful clothing for today's woman, where quality makes the difference.
Despite a bad fall in the freestyle skiing slopestyle event, Parry Sound native Milan Oldham rallied for a big win at the Winter Olympics in Italy. Oldham delivered a spectacular performance, which won her a third-place finish in the slopestyle event this morning. This is Oldham's second Olympic Winter Games. She competed in Beijing 4 years ago, where she missed qualifying for slopestyle by 1 place. Oldham will compete in the big air competition next, with qualifying on Saturday and the final set for Monday. Milan Oldham grew up in Parry Sound, and today CTV's Rob Cooper spoke to the mayor and a former teacher about watching her make the podium.
People in Parry Sound were ignited with excitement the moment Milan Oldham claimed the bronze medal at the Winter Olympics this morning.
I was watching this morning and tears did come to my eye. I was so proud, such a proud moment knowing Megan, and such a proud moment for our little town too.
From coffee shops to Oldham's former high school, everyone was watching and celebrating as the 24-year-old took to the podium in the ski slopestyle event. Signs like this one were quickly put up in honor of her amazing achievement. The mayor of Parry Sound is a family friend and says Oldham has represented the community with success and class.
It's wonderful because in a community like this, a lot of people know each other. So we've got that opportunity that the community knows the family and makes them even more excited because there's that relationship, right?
Many of the staff at Parry Sound High School are still teaching years after Oldham's graduation and have fond memories of her time as a student and are not surprised with her newfound success.
I taught Megan a couple of years ago. She took my personal fitness class, was a very hard worker, really dedicated, really committed to her training, to her sport. She was kind of like an inspiration to all the other kids in our class because she was such a hard worker.
With my morning classes, I was playing the third run for all of my students to see, and it's inspiration for all of our students at Parry Sound High School. If you can dream it, you can do it. So we're just so very proud of Megan.
Everyone seemed to be aware of the podium finish for Oldham, many saying they made sure they woke up extra early to see it for themselves.
We caught the final run, and it was just so exciting for her and for her family in Parry Sound.
Residents here on the street say they can't wait for her to return home to celebrate. The mayor telling me they're working on plans for an official celebration. Rob Cooper, CTV News, Parry Sound.
As for our other northern athletes, Max Holman finished 27th in the men's 10K cross-country skiing and 10K skiathlon. Brad Jacobs and the boys will start round-robin action Wednesday against Germany. Tracy Fleury and Team Holman will begin the women's round-robin Thursday against Denmark, and biathlete Shiloh Russo could be on deck as soon as Wednesday. The Winter Games are underway, but there will be more competition in March when the Paralympic Games begin. As CTV's Madison Merrier tells us, a Greater Sudbury man is preparing for his Olympic dream.
Logan LaRiviere has been cross-country skiing for around 15 years. The hard work has paid off in a big way as he's going to represent Canada at the Paralympic Winter Games.
I had a good feeling of me going, but wasn't getting my hopes up until after. As soon as I found out, it didn't really hit me until about a week ago when they announced it to the public. And at the announcement, that's where it really fully kicked in, like, yeah, this is happening and I'm going.
We're still kind of in shock about it, even though we knew the potential of it happening. I don't think it'll actually really hit us until we're at the event watching him ski in Italy.
LaRiviere has been competing in the visually impaired category with his guide of around a year.
I think we work very well together on and off the ski trails, which definitely helps in building that relationship as well and having that comfort level, and then the trust in him, to me, that I know what he's capable of, so that we're able to kind of work at that highest level possible.
Just staying healthy, getting the time and effort into training. We're basically at our levels that we're going to be at racing. It's just making sure we stay at the proper level.
LaRiviere's hometown of Lively is sending their support to the Olympian and even raising money with a raffle.
And go Canada! And a cheer!
Wanting to be able to get behind them and help support Logan make his dream a reality by going to the Paralympics. Like, it's a lot of money, and if the community is able to help rally around, like, why not, right?
LaRiviere has been hard at work training, and he still has a few camps left before he takes off for Italy in March. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Now our weekend wrap-up in the OHL, and it was a tough one for northern teams. The Flint Firebirds were flying high Friday night, winning 5-1 over the Sioux Greyhounds, while the Windsor Spitfires got the drop on the Sudbury Wolves 5-2. Saturday, the Wolves hit the road and get taken 4-1 by the Peterborough Petes. The North Bay Battalion were in Barrie, where they lost a close one 3-2 to the Colts. Sunday, the Greyhounds lose 5-2 to the Windsor Spitfires, while the North Bay Battalion dropped their rematch against the Colts 7-4. The Wolves, still on the road, would manage a hard-fought win in Oshawa, where they beat the Generals 4-3 in overtime. In the NOJHL, there are just 5 weeks until the end of the regular season, and the top 5 teams have clinched playoff spots over the weekend, but home ice advantage is still up for grabs. The bottom half of the standings are still close, leaving a lot of room for teams to put themselves in playoff contention. The only team really out of the running at this point is the French River Rapids, with just 9 points on the season. And a week after winning a Grammy Award, Bad Bunny took center stage at the Super Bowl halftime show yesterday, wowing the crowd. Bad Bunny is the first Latino solo artist to headline a Super Bowl halftime show, but it's not his first time appearing in one. He was a special guest performing alongside Shakira in 2020 at Super Bowl 54 in Miami. Bad Bunny was joined on stage by Lady Gaga and Ricky Martin. A Canadian actor is set to hit the silver screen as a scientist, while real-life librarians get their own documentary. David Daniel has tonight's Hollywood Report.
So I have a new roommate now.
Hi, Grace.
Together, we're pretty smart, but no one's ever done this before.
It is time go.
I think you're being go time, pal.
Here's a look at the final trailer for Project Hail Mary. Ryan Gosling plays a science teacher sent into space to discover why the sun is dying. Project Hail Mary, based on the novel by The Martian writer Andy Weir, opens in IMAX and other theaters March 20th.
You know what freedom is? What? No fear. Go.
Paul Thomas Anderson appears to be in the driver's seat in this year's Oscars race. The Directors Guild of America has given the One Battle After Another director its top prize. The DGA winner has gone on to win the Oscar for Best Director in each of the last 5 years.
If you would have asked me 10 years ago if I was going to have security concerns at a librarian conference, I would have been like, you're nuts.
The Librarians looks at the battle over books with race-related and LGBTQIA+ content and the consequences for education, free expression, and what it means to be a librarian. The Independent Lens documentary debuts today on PBS and the PBS app. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We told you earlier that Air Canada has halted flights to Cuba, and the decision is having an immediate effect on the airline's share price. Here's BNN Bloomberg's Lindsay Biscaya.
Shares of Air Canada ended the day in the red after the airline suspended flights to Cuba. Air Canada says the decision is because of an ongoing shortage of fuel on the island. The airline says it will be sending empty flights down to Cuba to return around 3,000 passengers. Shares of Air Canada ended the day down almost 5%. And the Canadian dollar is up 60 cents to end the day to 73.76. West Texas Intermediate climbed to 64.36. Western Canadian Select is up 47 cents to 48.04, and the TSX climbed to end the day ending just above 33,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities. We watch gold up $73.77, closing the day at $50.2169 US an ounce. Silver up $3.47 to end the day at $81.78. Copper slipped 14 cents to $5.82, and nickel no change, ending the day at $7.67 US a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Tuesday weather.
Tony, snow in the forecast for tomorrow. We've got snow beginning overnight. How about tomorrow? 5 to 10 centimeters in Greater Sudbury, -6, 5 centimeters in Timmins, -4, 0 in the Sioux at 2 centimeters for tomorrow. Elsewhere in North Bay, 10 to 15 centimeters, -4 your high, -2 in Parry Sound, 5 centimeters, and 10 to 15 centimeters in Temiskaming Shores, -6. Big change from the cold and the sunshine on the weekend. Now we've got some flurry activity, some heavy snow at times in the Northeast, and a bit of a change before more sunshine, and it starts to warm up by the end of the week. Tony?
Thanks, Rick. And finally tonight, some cool winter views of Niagara Falls thanks to low temperatures. The American side of Niagara Falls is partially frozen. The formations might make it look like the falls are totally iced over, but the strong currents of more than 20 million gallons of water every minute are too powerful to freeze completely. So it still flows underneath the frozen layer of mist and spray. The river has only been halted once when it was blocked by an ice jam in 1848. And folks, that's CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. Thanks for watching. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Good night.